The derivatives of the trig functions are pretty much a matter of memorization. I mean, you can derive them if you want by running them through the limit as delta x approaches 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. I mean, you can run them through that and derive them if you want. But in use, basically, it's a matter of memorization. You can come up with some gimmicks, but it's pretty much just straight memorization. So the derivative of the sine of x is the cosine of x. That's pretty easy. What that means is that the function of the slope to the sine is going to turn out to be the cosine. So the derivative of sine of x is the cosine of x. The derivative of the cosine of x is very similar, except it's going to have a negative on it. The derivative of the cosine of x is the negative sine of x. All of the cofunctions, the derivatives of all the cofunctions, cosine, cotangent, cosecant, the derivatives of all the cofunctions end up negative, while the derivatives of the other functions all end up positive. So the derivative of the cosine of x is going to be the negative sine of x. The derivative of the tangent is a little weird. It ends up as secant squared x. At least you can think it doesn't go with a one. Like tangent, the secant is not a co-function, so that might help you. So the derivative of the tangent x is the secant squared x. Meanwhile, the derivative of the cotangent of x is going to be the negative cosecant squared x. It's going to be negative because it's a co-function, and if you think of the co's going together, cotangent, cosecant, that might help you. So tangent, derivative of the tangent x, secant squared x. Derivative of the cotangent x is negative cosecant squared x. Then the derivative of the cosecant x, these last two are again kind of funny, but they both kind of go together. Because it's a co-function, it's going to be negative. It's going to be negative cosecant x times the cotangent of x. It might help you. We got the negative down because it's the derivative of a co-function. And cosecant, derivative of cosecant, and cosecant is in the answer. And it's times a co-function. So a co and a cosecant, cotangent. So that might help you remember it. Then the final one, of course, the derivative of the secant, following everything that we've talked about, it's not going to be negative because it's not a co-function. It's going to go with a non-cofunction answer, and it's going to be like the last one. So it's going to be, you got the derivative of the secant is going to be the secant times the tangent. So let me review again, and then let me give you a stupid ditty. So the derivative of the sine of x is the cosine of x. The derivative of the cosine of x is the negative sine of x. The derivative of the tangent is a little weird. It's the secant squared x. And the derivative of the cotangent of x is the negative cosecant squared x. The derivative of the cosecant of x is the negative cosecant x, cotangent x. And then finally the derivative of the secant x is the secant x, tangent x. So here's the stupid ditty. The derivative of the sine of x is the cosine of x. The derivative of the cosine of x is the negative sine of x. The derivative of the tangent x is the secant squared x. And the derivative of the cotangent x is the negative cosecant squared x. The derivative of the cosecant x is the negative cosecant x, cotangent x. The derivative of the secant x is the secant x, tangent x. I've run out of song and formula, so I'll just stop. There you have it, a little ditty that will probably not help you one bit whatsoever.